At 12 o'clock in the middle of the night, a portal of time and space appeared in front of Lan. He stretched his waist and walked in suddenly. Orario, Lan returned to his home. I checked the time, and only 36 days have passed. In this way, the time flow rate after crossing is 1 to 10. I haven't come back for a month, and the house has begun to fall. He cleaned it inside and out, and then took out the special product he brought back from the system backpack. Some modern furniture decorations, just to rearrange the home. There are also various game consoles, as well as novels, comics, impurities, and the like. There are also a dozen U-discs that have downloaded anime and movies and TV series, which will be enough to pass the time in the future. And finally the food. Because some ingredients have an expiration date, they will not be damaged when placed in the system backpack. Lan only took out some snacks and drinks and filled the refrigerator. In this way, my small family is more complete. But, it seems that there is still a hostess. Do you want to find a girlfriend first? Lan shook his head, but gave up. If you are asexual, can't you just watch when you are looking for a girlfriend? He can restore S**X, but the precursor needs genetic information. Meng Wang once returned to the world before crossing, brought back his own genetic information from the previous life, and planned to restore his manhood. It's a pity that Psycho Core Seal has feelings for King Meng, and in order to ensure the seat of the palace, he has not agreed. Lan is different, his sense core Paimon is very obedient, as long as he wants, he can recover. But he doesn't have the genetic information of the previous life, so he can't just find the genetic information of a man to restore it. Is the son born in the future still his own? This kind of spiritual green hat, he absolutely cannot agree with it. Or wait until you meet someone you really like in the future, then go back to your past life and retrieve your genetic information from the previous life. At present, being asexual is still quite good, there is no trouble root, and there is no random thinking. By the way, Paimon, has benefit been analyzed? Lan asked, suddenly thinking of something. In the past, Great Sage was difficult to analyze, but now sane core can always be. Lord Lan, the analysis has been completed, but the use of benefits requires divine blood as a medium. As a dragon species, sir, you do not have this condition. I'm a little disappointed. Although Meng Wang's skills are powerful, his strength has reached the level of the god of creation. But it is still a monster, not a god. In fact, it can be seen from the resistance that all the resistances of King Meng are invalid, only the attack of the Holy Devil is only patience. This shows that his body has not yet evolved into a god, and it is only because of the two abilities of Theosophical Core and God of Void that he has the strength of the god of creation. The original novel also explained in detail that although Meng Wang is the fifth dragon species, it is a sub-dragon species born the day after tomorrow. It seems that in the future, I have to find a way to improve my life level until I evolve into a god. The easiest way at present is to devour a real god, then let Paimon analyze and identify, and then transform the body into a god, just like swallowing a storm dragon. Master Lan, you don't need to be disappointed, although there is no divine blood, I have completely analyzed benevolence and can create an identical ability through its principles. Paimon seemed to sense an Ian's disappointment and hurriedly replied. It is very simple to create an ability with the same principle as benevolence by using the Shenluo Wangxiang, law control, and attribute transformation of Psycho Core, combined with the ability creation of King of Fengzhou. After all, benevolence is not a god-defying ability, it is just the key given by God to mortals to develop their own potential. I don't need it for the time being. I don't plan to develop a family yet. Lan shook his head. It is too tiring to develop a family, and it is also subject to the jurisdiction of the guild. Hui aside for the time being, it's time to open the treasure chest. In 1 year, 365 wooden treasure chests have been accumulated. System, Use 300 wooden treasure chests to synthesize 3 silver treasure chests. Ding, the synthesis is successful, get 3 silver treasure chests. Open all. Ding, open the silver treasure chest and get Jade of the 4 Souls. Ding, open the silver treasure chest and get Sagittarius gold cloth. Ding, open the silver treasure chest and get the protection of the Sword Saint. Not bad, all good things. The Jade of the 4 Souls from the world of Inuyasha is a fusion of the souls of the Shrine Maiden and the Great Monster, and has a very powerful power. Enlan swallowed it directly, enhancing his magic power. There is no need to unlock skills now, so the mana devoured can be used to strengthen itself. The Sagittarius golden cloak looks very handsome, but it is too high profile after wearing it. The protection of the Juggernaut, it can kill things that cannot be killed, and maximize the ability of the sword. This is a good ability, and it comes from the protection of the world swordsman Reinhard Vanistria from life in a different world from Zero. After opening the treasure box, Enlan left the house, ready to go shopping for food, and cook in person to celebrate in the evening. During this period of time, he had eaten enough kimchi in country H. Because my home was originally a store on North Street, I went out to the street market, and it was super convenient to buy things. There are many kinds of vegetables in the wrong world. Enlan doesn't know how to cook these vegetables, so he can only buy what he knows. Next is meat, buy a little of each. However, just when he finished shopping and was about to go back, he accidentally encountered Alice and Lila. Sister Enlan. Arashi said happily. Enlan looked at the two and asked, "Didn't you go to the dungeon today?" "Just finished an expedition, so take a break." Alice explained. Looking at the ingredients in Ian's hands, Lila couldn't help but say, "Enlan, last time I heard from the head of the regiment that there are many magical things in your house, can I visit it?" "Lila, that's rude." Alice immediately rebuked. Enlan didn't care, and instead sent an invitation. "It doesn't matter, I just happen to be preparing a rich dinner. I don't think I can finish it all by myself. Why don't we all come together?" "How embarrassing is this?" Arashi blushed a little, and didn't forget to give Lila a glance. "You're welcome," Enlan said with a smile. "Since I want to celebrate, I am too lonely by myself, and more people will be more lively." Lila said excitedly, "That's great, I'll go get Liu and Kagaya together." After speaking, she turned and ran away. Chapter 18 Visitors. Extreme Eastern. Enlan brought Alice home and turned on the air conditioner. Immediately, the whole house became cooler. Alice was also curious to look here and there. "The last time I came to buy fruit, I was in a hurry, but Ian's home still left a deep impression on her." "Want something to drink?" Enlan asked her suddenly. "Anything, you can," Alice replied. "Then you sit down for a while." Enlan went to the kitchen table after saying that. Because the kitchen at home is open, so the kitchen counter, dining table, and living room are all connected. This modern decoration style makes Alice feel extremely novel. Enlan opened the refrigerator, took out a bottle of sky blue cocktail and Sprite, and some ice cubes. The weather is so hot, it's best to drink a cold drink. He took out 4 Colin glasses, filled each with ice, and poured half the cocktail. This blue cocktail is a blue rose flavored whiskey that goes with everything. Then squeeze some lemon juice, add orange slices, limes, chopped red dragon fruit, and finally pour in Sprite. Suddenly, the cup showed 3 colors. The bottom is blue, the middle is red, and the top is transparent, very beautiful. Enlan brought 4 drinks to the coffee table in front of the sofa, and said to Alice, "Try it and see how it goes." "What's this?" Alice couldn't help but ask, looking at the dazzling cocktail in front of her. "It's called Njiru Osu, the cocktail I made." Enlan introduced it. It's actually wine. Alice looked surprised. Orario has no shortage of fine wines, and the divine wine brewed by Soma, the god of wine, is even more addicting. But in front of me, I mix the drinks together, add ice, add oranges, and even dragon fruit. Is this delicious? Although there was some doubt in her heart, Alice still picked up a cup and took a sip. As a guest, if you don't even drink the wine prepared by the host, it would be a bit too disrespectful. However, when the drink was in the mouth and the deliciousness bloomed on the mouth and taste buds, she was instantly conquered. The Blue Rose flavored whiskey cocktail has a low alcohol content, only about 6 degrees. Then after the dilution of Sprite, it can hardly count as wine. The aroma of blue roses, the refreshing and sweetness of Sprite, and a hint of lemon and orange, combined with the coolness of the ice cubes, is simply heartwarming and soaring. How? Enlan asked again. This is also his first time bartending, and the recipe is also learned from a short video in a previous life, which is simple and easy to remember. Delicious, I have never had such a good drink. Alice said excitedly. In fact, what she said was a bit exaggerated. Although the cocktail was delicious, it was just that. Compared with the divine wine brewed by Soma, the god of wine, it is still far behind. The winemakers in this world are blessed with the ability to develop. A winemaker with the ability to brew, even if the wine brewed casually, tastes better than the wine brewed by ordinary winemakers. It was only the first time that Alice tasted a cocktail, and she was so unfamiliar with the taste that she thought it was so delicious. But then again, cocktails are indeed more suitable for girls. At this moment, there was a knock on the door. Enlan opened the door, and it turned out that Lila came with Liu and Kagaya. Just in time, I just prepared drinks for you. Enlan took out 3 pairs of slippers and handed them to them. You're too polite. Liu and Kagaya said politely. There are still drinks. Lila looked expectantly. The 3 women changed their shoes, and as soon as they walked into the house, they felt a burst of coolness. It's so comfortable. Lila exclaimed in surprise. Liu and Kagaya looked at each other with curiosity in their eyes. The decoration in this room is as strange as the head of the group said. Come here, before the ice cubes melt, hurry up and taste the bar that Enlan prepared for you. Arashi said after seeing the 3 girls. Is this wine? Lila raised her glass with curiosity in her eyes. After taking a sip, his eyes lit up and he drank with a big mouthful. Liu and Kagaya each took a cup and started tasting. Immediately, the 2 women also showed surprised expressions. Because of this drink, they tasted it for the first time. It seems that this Enlan's sister not only lives in a strange house, but also drinks different drinks from ordinary people. Kagaya said with a smile and narrowed eyes. It's so good, Miss Enlan, can you have another drink? Lila drank it after a few sips, and even ate the dragon fruit pulp used for coloring. Not only her, but also the 3 daughters of Arashi, Liu, and Kagaya were looking forward to it. Wait a moment. Enlan smiled slightly, then took out a large cup and adjusted a little more at once. The 4 daughters were so happy that they drank before they had eaten. Enlan, why is your house so cool? Lila asked suddenly, running over. Because I turned on the air conditioner. He pointed to the air conditioner mounted on the wall. All the girls looked at the air conditioner and found that the air conditioner in the room was indeed coming from there. It's amazing. Lila looked envious. It's nothing special, you can think of it as a kind of magic called science. Enlan explained briefly. So that's what it is. Lila nodded knowingly. There are many adventurers in Orario, and the magic awakened by each person is different and varied. Apparently, she sees air conditioning as scientific magic for an Aeon's awakening. Enlan didn't explain much. After all, something like science cannot be explained clearly in a sentence or 2. In the next time, the four girls were sitting on the sofa drinking and chatting, while Lan was cooking on the kitchen counter. Because the living room and the kitchen table were figured out, he also chatted with the girls from time to time. In addition to the life and death adventures in the dungeon, the chat content of the girls is mostly about the interesting stories of the major families. As night fell, Lan made dinner. A series of exquisite dishes were brought to the table, and the girls couldn't help swallowing. So delicious. The background of the wrong world is similar to that of ancient Europe, so people's staple foods are mainly potatoes, oats, pasta, roasted meat, and brown bread. Not only that, but the standard of living here is also very backward. For example, if you don't even brush your teeth, you have to get a wooden stick with fur to brush. So Lan came back this time, bringing a lot of modern daily necessities and a lot of ingredients. The dishes he cooked tonight were all hyuxia. Lan, are you from the extreme east? Are these all extreme eastern delicacies? Lila couldn't help but ask first. I am indeed from the east, but not the extreme east as you say. These dishes are called hyuxia food and come from the Celestial dynasty. Lan shook his head and explained to them. The wrong place is because the author entrained private goods and integrated into the culture of the island country, so there was a setting of extreme eastern people. The food of the extremists is also rice with dishes, which is why Lila thinks that Lan is the extremist. Orario has no racial discrimination. After all, there are many subhumans besides humans, and they get along very peacefully. This is based on strength. As long as your strength is strong enough, even a small human race will be respected. For example, the leader of Loki's family, Finn, who has the title of hero. Chapter 19, Expedition Mission. It doesn't matter who is, I'm already hungry. Lila waved her hand and got ready to start. Seeing that she didn't consider herself an outsider at all, Alicia shook her head helplessly. Lan greeted everyone to the table, and then went to the refrigerator to get some drinks. Lila quickly tasted every dish and exclaimed, "These dishes are so delicious." The other three women heard the words and joined them one after another. Immediately, everyone showed a surprised expression. This is completely different from the staple food they usually eat. Rice is paired with dishes, so it turns out to be so delicious. Seeing this, Lan smiled slightly. The dishes on the table in front of him were all his specialty. Such as braised fish, large plate chicken, sweet and sour pork ribs, shredded pork with green peppers, green vegetables with oil residue, and scrambled eggs with onions. All the girls were eating hyuxia food for the first time, and they said it was delicious. Even Alice lost her restraint and let go of eating. Lila ate several bowls of rice in a row. She really didn't know how her little human body fit in. After drinking and eating, Lila patted her stomach and said happily, "Lan, do you want to form a team with us and explore the dungeon together?" "Yeah, it's always safer to form a team than to be alone." Arashi also looked at Lan expectantly. "Okay, then we'll be together next time." Lan nodded and accepted the invitation. The last time he rejected them was because he wanted to devour monsters alone and accumulate magic power. Now Mengwang's skill tree has been fully unlocked and completely integrated with his soul. He doesn't need to accumulate magic power anymore, and the monsters he devours in the future will be used to strengthen himself. Also, the nightmare event on the 27th floor happened this year. Lan didn't know the exact time, and in order not to regret it, he decided to form a team with Theastria Familia. Great. Alicia was very happy when Lan agreed. "Lan, how old are you?" Kaguya suddenly asked calmly. "I'm level 4. He casually said a level. Neither high nor low, they belong to the mainstay in Yulari. "Wow, you are actually level 4, one level higher than me." Lila suddenly showed a regretful expression. "Originally, I thought of teaming up to go to the dungeon together, but I showed off my skills and took Lan to fly. As a result, Ian's level is higher than himself. Looking at the four girls in front of him, Enlan sighed slightly in his heart. If the Astrea Familia is not destroyed, what will happen in 5 years? At present, Alice has reached LV4 for some time, and her strength is infinitely close to LV5. She only needs one adventure, and she can level up after accomplishing great feats. Liu and Kagaya are also level 4, while Lila is level 3. Give them 5 years, with Arashi's talent, to properly LV6. Liu's talent is not inferior to that of Loki's family's genius sword girl, Ace, and now she and Ace are known as the two new star families of Orari. In the original book, she didn't update her favor for 5 years, so her strength was LV4, and she was overtaken by Isai. If nothing happened to the Astrea familiar, Liu would have been venturing in the dungeon like Ace, constantly renewing her favors. 5 years later, her strength is likely to be LV6. Furthermore, Kagaya and Lila, if the two of them are not dead, they should be able to reach LV5 in 5 years. In this way, the Astrea family can have 2 LV6 members and 2 LV5 members at the beginning of the story. The balance of Orari will definitely be broken, and it will no longer be the third of the Freya family, the Loki family, and the Ganesha family. Thinking of this, and Ian's mouth showed an expectant smile. Delight. Arashi did not expect Enlan to be a level 4 adventurer. With such strength at such a young age, it is impossible for him to be unknown in Orari. Unless her main god concealed information from the guild and protected it. Thinking of this, Alice couldn't help but ask, Sister Enlan, who is your family? Nuwa's family, the god of my family is not in Ulari. Enlan said nonsense. He also doesn't know if there is a heavenly god in this world, it's just flickering anyway. When Alice heard this, she was indeed full of question marks. However, there are many gods in the heavens, and there are only a small number of gods in the lower world. As a mortal, it is impossible for her to know all of them, so she simply does not ask any more. After chatting for a while, Alice and the girls left. Enlan had already made an agreement with them that he would go to the guild to pick up a mission in a week, and then go to form a team to go on an expedition. After sending the girls away, looking at the table full of tableware and chopsticks, he directly separated a clone and asked the clone to clean up and clean. I have to say that Meng Wang's skills are easy to use. In the following days, in addition to signing in and accumulating treasure chests every day, I would play games and watch anime. A week passed quickly, and the appointed time came. Enlan came to the square under the Tower of Babel and saw Alice and the others in full armor. In addition to the 4 of them, there is the god Astrea, and a supporter. This is the first time Enlan meets Astrea, the legendary goddess of justice. I have to say, it looks beautiful. A beautiful face, a perfect figure, wearing a white slim dress, and long brown hair draped over her shoulders, giving a sense of intimacy. Enlan. Alice immediately waved and shouted after seeing her. Enlan walked over and greeted everyone politely. Oh, you're Enlan, that's great. Astrea's eyes lit up, as if she had found some kind of treasure. It would be great if such a young LV4 could join her clan. You are over the top. Enlan said modestly. Let me introduce you, this is Niz, the supporter of our family. Arashi suddenly introduced the supporter beside her. Hello. Enlan smiled and nodded. Hello. The little girl blushed a little shyly. Immediately, Alice told Enlan about the mission. The task they received this time was to go to the security layer on the 38th floor to protect a team of supporters from returning. Because the floor master on the 37th floor has already been defeated, so they can take this task. Otherwise, with their strength, they would not be able to pass the level of the floor master on the 37th floor. In addition, because the floor master on the 27th floor has been resurrected and refreshed, there is another requirement for this mission, the crusade against the two-headed dragon Amphias Baena. and Ian's face was a little weird after hearing this. Because those floor owners were all attacked by him a month ago. In more than a month, the floor master on the 27th floor has been refreshed and resurrected, but the floor master on the 37th floor has been refreshed for 3 months, so it has not been resurrected. Fisbayana has LV5 strength, you must be careful this time. Astria reminded the girls. Don't worry, after completing this crusade, I will be able to level up. Alissi said confidently. This time, the team has more in LAN, which is equivalent to having 4 LV4 adventurers, plus LV3 Lila, they can definitely defeat the two-headed dragon Fisbayana. Chapter 20 The Law of Space. Defeat the floor master alone. Under Astria's blessing and gaze, Enlan followed Alice and the others into the dungeon. After entering, Enlan took out the travel sword. How did your weapon come about? Lila asked curiously when she saw this scene. This is my magic, space magic. Enlan fudged again. I see, it's such a convenient ability. Lila said with envy. With this magic, adventurers may not need supporters. The supporters are actually the logistic Ians of the adventurers, weapons, supplies, and recovery medicines. Each expedition requires the supporters to carry a lot of things. Even if they are not on an expedition, adventurers need supporters to help them pick up magic stones. But supporters are generally weak and need protection. This is equivalent to bringing a burden on the battlefield and dispersing the combat power. Niz was also envious, wishing she had space magic, so that she wouldn't have to carry a big package. At this time, Kaguya suddenly reminded, stop chatting, it's time to fight. A group of goblins appeared in front of them, and the 3 girls, Arashi, Liu, and Kaguya, rushed forward. Even in the face of the most low-level monsters, they will not take it lightly, and they will do their best to shoot. Seeing this scene, Enlan also rushed up. He controlled his own strength, and only played around LV4, and then relied on swordsmanship to kill monsters. Because of the ability of Juggernaut's protection, Enlan felt that he was more at ease with his sword. As if the sword was himself, he was always in a state of unity between man and sword. It's amazing. Lila couldn't help exclaiming when she saw an Ian's strength. It's a pity that she wanted to protect Niz, so she couldn't make a move, so she could only watch from a distance. 4 LV4 level adventurers cleared the way, and in less than a day, they had already descended to the 17th floor. However, on the 17th floor, the Lord Goliath had been refreshed and resurrected, and he was not attacked. As soon as everyone came down, this guy jumped out of the wall. Do you want to solve it easily? Enlan asked, looking at the girls. Ordinary Goliath only has the strength of LV4, and it will not be as strong as the Black Goliath that drops 18 layers in the anime. The birth of the Black Goliath was entirely because Hestia entered the dungeon and unleashed divine might. Then it was noticed by the dungeon, and because the dungeon hated the gods, naturally he would not let go of the opportunity to kill the gods. It directly mutated the Goliath on the 17th floor into a Black Goliath, and rushed into the security floor. I want to try a crusade alone. Arashi stood up, looking at Goliath with war intent in her eyes. You can only level up if you take risks and complete the feats that the gods admire. In order to make his great achievements more abundant, it is a very good choice to crusade the floor owner alone. The sword girl Ace in the original book also defeated Udius, the floor master on the 37th floor, and was promoted to level 6. Come on. Enlan gave her a look of approval. Leader Cu, our family's first LV5 adventurer. Lila shouted loudly. Liu and Kaguya are also encouraging Alice. Everyone retreated to the entrance of the 18th floor, and Arashi held the long sword of the True Red Order, and the sword body erupted with red flames. It turned out to be additional magic. Enlan saw her skills at a glance. With the existence of a mental core, he can not only analyze other people's skills in 1 second, but even copy them in 1 second. The battle begins. Goliath let out a terrifying cry, and then threw her fist at Alice, attacking in a simple and rude way. Alice dodged in a flash, and then swung the flaming sword, turning it into a red energy sword. Like a phantom sword dance, bloodstains were left on Goliath's body. Very powerful, this damage is no longer lost to level 5 adventurers. Goliath didn't seem to feel the pain, and suddenly opened his mouth wide, and aimed at Alice with an air cannon. Alice slashed out with a sword, and the flames cut off the air cannon. Then, without knowing what skill was used, Goliath's body suddenly began to explode. The places that exploded were all places where wounds had just been left. Head's detonating spell is so handsome. Lila cheered on the side. However, it is a pity that Goliath, as the floor master, has a strong regeneration and recovery ability. In the explosion just now, the severed limbs that had been blown up were exposed, and the wounds recovered quickly. There was nothing wrong with Alice, as if she had known it for a long time. I saw a smile on the corner of her mouth, and the fighting intent in her eyes became stronger. The flame on the sword is like the arrogance after the Sion transforms, and it burns more vigorously. Armed with the flaming sword, Alice fought with her again. The entire 17th floor was shaking, and some adventurers who had just descended to this floor watched the scene from the sidelines. Looking at Alice, who was enjoying the battle, Enlan suddenly thought of someone. Their skills and fighting styles are so similar. She is the hairsker of the burning flames, Kiana Kislana. The battle quickly came to an end, and in the end, Alice won, beheading the floor master Goliath. Seeing Alice, who was about to lose her strength with scars all over her body, the girls hurried forward and gave her a recovery potion. In the case of the same level, defeat the floor master alone. Such great achievements have been able to upgrade her. It's a pity that it's still a little worse than Sword Princess Ace. You must know that Jianji was at LV5, and she alone defeated Udius, the floor master with LV6 strength. Leapfrog challenge, even the gods must be convinced by it. Other adventurers who watched the battle also came to congratulate them, apparently they all knew Alice. Because of the worst incident 2 years ago, the Astria family is quite famous in Orario. As the leader of the Astria familia, almost no one does not know him. After these adventurers left, everyone checked the items dropped by the floor master. In addition to a huge magic stone, there is also a black sword. The weapon dropped by the floor master is quite valuable. In the original book, S also dropped a black sword after she defeated Udius alone. Later, the sword that the male protagonist Bell used to kill the Black Goliath on the 18th floor was the black sword of Udius that Ace left on the 18th floor. Goliath was defeated by Alice alone, so the dropped weapons and magic stones belonged to her. But the floor master magic stone was too big for Niz to pack. In the end, it was Enlan who took the shot and put it into his system backpack. After everyone went down to the 18th floor, they decided to rectify and rest for a night before going further. Because the cost of accommodation in the small town of Rivera is too expensive, we can only choose to camp in the forest. Enlan went to the small town of Rivera alone while everyone was not paying attention. Chapter 21 Create a Shadow Legion. Although the price of this town is expensive, it is also a natural black market. Enlan went deep into the 59th floor a month ago, and killed countless monsters one after another. There were countless magic stones, materials, and weapons in the system backpack. For the items dropped by these monsters, he only sold some magic stones for money, and the rest are still there. If it is sold in Orario, such a huge amount will undoubtedly attract the attention of the guild and major families. But if you sell it here, you are not afraid of being discovered. Before entering the town, Enlan used mimesis to change his appearance, from a girl to a middle-aged uncle. This is exactly the appearance of the Dragon Emperor who was swallowed by him, tall and strong, with long fiery red hair. The town looks a bit shabby, and there are adventurers with stalls everywhere. There are many family members of Orari. In addition to the exploration family that is the main battle, there are many other family members. For example, the Demeter family, which specializes in planting and agriculture, and the Mihi family, which specializes in medical treatment, are all business-oriented families. Enlan found an open space, put a layer of cloth on the ground, and then took out the monster drop items in the system backpack. Magic stones, materials, weapons, piles are full. The people passing by and the other family members doing business all widened their eyes. Enlan ignored them and put up another sign that said sale at low price, 30% off. Seeing this scene, all adventurers are not calm. Everything in the small town of Rivera is very expensive, because it takes a lot of manpower and material resources to transport the materials. It's the first time they've seen things here at low prices. This man is either out of his mind or he needs money urgently. However, they were all wrong, and Lan just didn't want these things to occupy the system backpack. Although the system backpack is infinite in size, it is full of rubbish, and it will be very uncomfortable to look at. Yes, these things are garbage in his eyes. Then, is there a 30% discount? At this time, an adventurer stepped forward, picked up a big sword and asked. This big sword was exploded by Enlan devouring the two-headed dragon, the master of the floor. That's right, 30% off the market price of Orari. Enlan nodded. Great, I want this. The adventurer happily took out a bag of Wallace. Enlan also gave him the weapon and the deal was successful. This time the other adventurers couldn't sit still, and they all gathered around to buy what they wanted. The best sellers are undoubtedly the materials and weapons dropped by monsters, but magic stones are rarely bought. Some adventurers didn't have enough money, so they rushed to inform the members of their family. Soon, more and more people came to buy. The materials and weapons were sold out in no time, and only a pile of magic stones remained. Enlan thought no one had bought it, and was ready to leave. Suddenly, a big family appeared and bought all the magic stones directly. If all these magic stones are brought back to Orari and sold in exchange for gold, 30% of the cost can be directly earned. With the trash sold out, Enlan is finally comfortable. This time, I made a total of more than 500 million Wallace. Back at the camp, the girls of Alice had already rested. Obviously, the battle this day has made them very tired. In order to explore deeper and better tomorrow, they must rest and regain their energy. Enlan wouldn't feel tired, so he went to the 15th floor by himself with nothing to do. The monster on this floor is the Minotaur, and he intends to try the ability of the God of Darkness. This is the ultimate ability of the Shadow King that combines 8 pieces of darkness. It not only inherits all the abilities of the Shadow King, but is even more powerful. He is going to use this skill to create an army of shadows. There are many monsters in the dungeon, and they all look strange and ugly. As a face value party, Enlan finally chose the Minotaur as his first Shadow Legion. An army composed of countless Tauren is very cool to think about. As soon as they reached the 15th floor, they encountered 3 Minotaurs. Enlan took out the travel sword, and with a single stroke, beheaded them all. Looking at the magic stone falling on the ground, he raised his right hand and commanded, "Stand up." As soon as the voice fell, countless black breaths poured into the magic stone, and then turned into 3 shadow Tauren. They came to Enlan and knelt down on one knee as if they were seeing a king. The whole body is dark, exuding a black ominous atmosphere, and the blue eyes like ghosts, and ghosts are full of murderous aura. Very good, the next thing is to explode. Enlan smiled and ordered the shadow soldiers to kill the other Minotaurs. After the shadow soldiers got the order, they started to slaughter frantically. If broken, Enlan can also resurrect it. As more and more Minotaurs were killed, so did an Aeon's army of Tauren. After one night, the Shadow Legion already had 120 members. It's a pity that the speed of spawning monsters in the dungeon is a bit slow, otherwise you can explode more shadow soldiers. Back at the camp, the girls of Alice had woken up and were washing. Lan waited for them to finish, and then continued to go deep into the dungeon together. Entering the big tree maze on the 19th floor, the monster's strength has obviously improved. Even with 4 LV4 level leaders, the speed has slowed down a lot. And as it goes deeper, the monster's strength becomes stronger and stronger. Especially when they reached the 25th floor, they actually encountered a predator. Enhanced Seed, Moss Giant. This thing seems to have intelligence, not only hunting humans, but even monsters. Lan wanted to take it too and become the captain of his own Shadow Legion. It's a pity that he didn't want to reveal this ability in front of Alice's daughters. The strength of the Moss Giant is good, although it is not as good as the Floor Master. It can also be regarded as a small boss. Alice gave it to Liu, apparently trying to nurture her. Liu nodded, took out his wooden sword, and fought fiercely with him. Lan looked at the wooden sword in Liu's hand, thinking that it should be a holy sword made from the branches of the holy tree of the elves. Although this holy sword is tough, it has no blade and does not feel very sharp. Lan decided to give Liu a weapon, who made her the favorite female character in anime in her previous life. Thinking of this, he directly copied a long sword. This weapon is the weapon of Sakaguchi Hinata, one of the 10 saints in the world of Moking. When she intercepted Moking, she was devoured by Moking using gluttony during the battle. Lan incorporates Moking's skill tree, and anything Moking devours is documented. So he directly asked Psycho Core Paimon to parse the information of the sword, and then copied it out. Chapter 22 Gale, Lu Ryan. 1 threw the weapon to Liu who was fighting. Liu responded quickly, took the weapon, and looked at Lan with some puzzlement. Your holy sword is hard, but not sharp enough. This sword is for you. Lan explained to her with a smile. Thank you. Liu nodded, put away the holy sword, and drew out the long sword that Lan had given him. I have to say that Sakaguchi Hyuga is one of the top 10 saints in the Menghuang world. She is not only powerful, but also has a top-notch weapon. After changing the weapon, Liu directly broke through the defense of the Moss Giant, leaving an irreversible wound on its body. What a powerful weapon! Lila said enviously after seeing it. Such a powerful weapon can definitely sell for tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of Wallace in Orario. Lan actually gave it to Liu like that, which is not generous. For a while, even Alice and Kaguya looked at Lan. If Lan wasn't a girl, they even wondered if Lan liked Ryu. Don't look at me like that, I can forge weapons, so don't care. Lan explained hastily. You also forge weapons. Lila was startled again, showing a look like she was looking at a monster. At present, Orario's weapons business is basically monopolized by the two families of He Faith and Gubanius. Will the emergence of Lan break the monopoly? Yeah, don't you admire me? Lan teased Lila, pretending to be conceited. That's right. If you can give me a weapon, I will worship you even more. Lila said with a sly look in her eyes. Okay, but I only have sword weapons right now. I'll build one for you later. Lan agreed boldly. Great, Lan, you'll be my best sister from now on. Lila shouted happily. The head of the team, Arashi, covered her forehead helplessly, feeling that her family was always taking advantage of Lan. On the other hand, Liu, who had changed weapons, quickly ended the battle, beheading the Moss Giant completely. Continue to go deeper, and soon go down to the entrance of the 27th floor. Kill the floor master directly, or take a rest. Lan asked the girls. Amphisbaena's strength is very strong. In order to ensure that it is correct, we will go to the 28th floor to rectify and rest, and then we will crusade it tomorrow. The head of the team, Alice, stood up and said. No problem, all the way from the 18th floor, my magic power is almost exhausted. Lila agreed. We agree too. Liu and Kagaya nodded. Then go to the 28th floor first, and be careful when passing the 27th floor. Alicina ordered after making up her mind. Immediately, everyone cautiously entered the 27th floor. The habitat of the two-headed dragon Amphiaspaena is the giant blue waterfall, as long as it is as far away as possible. The monsters encountered along the way were also shot by Enlan and Alice and killed quickly. In this way, everyone passed the 27th floor without any risk and came to the security floor. The same is the security layer. The 28th floor is obviously much deserted, and even there are many fewer adventurers. The people who can come here are basically expedition teams of large family members with level 4 adventurers. However, more than half of Orari's adventurers are LV1, and most of the remaining half are LV2 and LV3. There are very few people who can reach LV4 or above. Still the same, the girls found a place to set up tents. Enlan left behind a clone, and then left alone. On the 25th floor of Crystal Lake, Enlan began to expand his Shadow Army. The first legion of the Shadow Legion is the Minotaur, which is powerful in attack, thick in blood and high in defense, just like a tank in the army. Then the second legion must be the Navy, and the half-mermaid in the Crystal Lake is the best choice. Enlan raised one hand, and the entire Crystal Lake turned into tornadoes rising into the sky under the water manipulation. Countless mermen, ice crystal sea urchins, water horses, and other monsters in the water have been exposed. Immediately afterwards, countless water blades appeared in the waterspout, like a meat grinder, smashing all these monsters. Stand up! With a single command, the dead demigods were all resurrected as shadow soldiers, bowing their heads to Enlan. Enlan nodded with satisfaction. He only resurrected the half-merman, and the other water monsters were not resurrected. Because he has a slight obsessive-compulsive disorder, he doesn't like the mess of his navy in the future, and there are all kinds of species. Since it was decided that the second legion was a half-merman, they would not be using other monsters. Next, Enlan gave orders to the merman soldiers to kill more mermen after the dungeon was refreshed. Leave the two half-mermaid soldiers behind and collect the magic stones and materials dropped by the monster you just killed. The material is brought back to sell for money, and the magic stone is directly swallowed to enhance its own magic power. No matter how small a mosquito is, it is still meat, so don't waste it. Next, Enlan kept hunting the demigods and resurrected as his own shadow soldier. Another night has passed, and the number of half-mermaids in the second legion has reached 200. Don't ask why it is remediation, because there is obsessive-compulsive disorder. Back on the 28th floor, I retracted my clone. After a night of rest and recovery, Cielia and her daughters are ready. With the confidence of victory, the girls came to the blue giant waterfall on the 27th floor. The floor master, Amphiaspaena, spotted the intruder and launched an attack with a roar. Everyone quickly dodged, and then attacked one after another. Burning burning, burning burning, burning burning, full flame. Alice chanted magic while fighting, and added magic power to her weapon. The enchanted real red order turned into a flaming sword, and instantly left a bone-deep scar on Amphiaspaena. At the wound, you can even see the magic stone in the body. Liu activated the skill of the wind and rushed, and the whole person turned into an afterimage, and quickly left a series of scars on the body of Amphiaspaena. At the same time, she chanted while attacking. The vast and boundless forest Lin Tian is in the distance, the infinite stars embedded in the infinite night sky. The stupid I responded with my voice, please come to the blessing of the spark, and please give the mercy of light to those who abandoned you. Come on, wandering wind, wandering traveler, soar in the sky, through the wilderness, and slay the enemy with the light of stardust. Both Alice and Liu were using parallel chants, and they attacked Amphius Baena like a storm without giving it the slightest chance. After Liu's chant ended, a powerful green magic energy erupted from her whole body. Wind of starlight. Immediately, the wind element in the air turned into cannonballs and attacked Amphius Baena's body. The picture was like artillery washing the ground, directly blowing one of its heads. Enlan also shot at this time, and saw that he turned over and passed over the head of Amphius Baena, and at the same time, countless silver threads bloomed from his hands. The moment he landed, he saw the silver wire in his hands. FK the silk demon-bound formation. In the next second, Amphius Baena's body was bound by countless silver threads, and he was trapped in place and unable to move. Chapter 23 God of the Void. Time and Space Domination. What a powerful restraint skill! Lila, who was watching the battle from a distance, exclaimed. After entering the dungeon for so long, it was the first time she saw Enlan use his skills. Not only her, but also Arashi and Liu. This hand's ability to manipulate silk threads is simply terrifying. Because even the floor owner can be bound, and he can't break free. The sturdiness of the silk thread is simply the best material for forging weapons. What are you doing? Let's finish it. Enlan said to the girls. In order not to reveal his strength, he also pretended to be uncontrollable. Tisk tisk, this acting skills in the previous life, it is also appropriate to win an Oscar. Kaguya was the first to react, only to see that she used her skill Iai Tai sword, and her whole body turned into a blade of light, passing through the immobile Amphius Baena. His magic stone, which was exposed because of the wound, shattered instantly. Without the magic stone, Amphius Baena is also completely dead. Have we succeeded in the crusade? Arashi looked at the dead floor owner and couldn't believe it. It's also so easy. Thanks to an Aeon's restraint on Amphius Baena, my Iai/ was able to hit the magic stone with one hit. Kaguya said while putting away the sword. It's a pity that no items were dropped, and the magic stone was shattered. Lila pouted and said disappointedly. You must know that the magic stone of the floor master is very valuable, and it just disappeared. Don't be greedy. Arashi tapped Lila on the head. Lila immediately shut up, but when she saw Enlan, she couldn't help but say, Enlan, your skills just now are amazing, it's space magic, and it's silk thread manipulation, how many skills do you have? What? I have 3 magics and 2 skills, Enlan said casually. When everyone heard this, they were once again surprised. Because even Liu, who is known as the new star family, only has 2 magics and 3 skills. Looking at their expressions, Enlan didn't know whether to be proud or not. With the existence of a Sans core, he is equivalent to possessing infinite skills and magic. But it would be an exaggeration to say this. The upgrade system in the wrong world can have 2 or 3 magics or skills, which is already very powerful. And most of the skills are auxiliary, attack skills are very rare. For example, Liu has 3 skills, Fairy Star Singing enhances the magical effect, Spiritual Reloading increases power by consuming mental power, and Blast Fury increases the attack power as the speed increases. There are also 2 of her magics, in addition to Starlight Wind, which is a group attack, and the other Noah's Healing is a recovery magic. It's amazing, there are actually 3 magics. Except for space magic, are the other 2 attack magics? Lila asked curiously. Enlan sighed, and looking at her expectant eyes, she could only show her hands. My 3 spells are Space Manipulation, Black Flame Prison, and Black Thunder Lan. In addition to having a storage space, Space Operation can also simply teleport. After he finished speaking, he used the transfer, and saw that he disappeared completely, and he reappeared and came to the back of Alice. The girls widened their eyes in disbelief. This space magic is simply a backstab magic. In fact, Enlan does not have the magic of space manipulation, but the ultimate ability Void God has the ability of time and space control. Not to mention mere space, even time can be controlled. But that kind of skill is too terrifying, even a god may not necessarily be able to control time. So Lan took the next step and made up a spatial operation to cover up. Then what skills are Black Flame Prison and Black Thunder Lan? Alice couldn't help asking at this time. The Black Flame Prison is to trap the enemy in an enchantment and burn the enemy with ultra-high temperature black flame, and the Black Thunder Lan is the ability to manipulate lightning and storms. Just after Lan finished speaking, several monsters were refreshed in the distance. He simply used those monsters as a demonstration, and saw a black flame appeared in his hand, and then threw it at the monster. Bang! With an explosion, the monsters were enveloped in a semicircular barrier, and black flames erupted in the barrier, burning them directly to ashes. Then Lan waved his hand again, and lightning flashed and thundered suddenly over the giant blue waterfall. One after another tornadoes rose from the ground, rolling up the water of the waterfall, forming a waterspout. The monsters in the water were swept up and smashed. Then there were countless black lightning strikes, and all the monsters were hacked to death. The girls were stunned, this was too exaggerated. Wind, fire, thunder, all attack magic. Even the 9 demons of the Loki family, Reveria, is nothing more than that. Grunt. Lila swallowed her saliva and asked again, Lan, what is the other of your 2 skills besides silk binding formation? Inflammatory prison array. After Lan finished speaking, he released it to a clearing. I saw a golden red formation on the ground, with a triangle in the middle, a circle on the outside, and countless magic words. Then a large amount of flames erupted in the magic circle, turning into a pillar of flame. It's too exaggerated, it's all attack skills. Kaguya couldn't help saying. The feeling she gives me is more terrifying than the 9 demons of the Loki familiar. Liu nodded in agreement. What's more, you forgot that she can also forge weapons. Lila added. In fact, Lan showed some small skills, Benamaru's Black Flame Prison, Lanya's Black Thunder Lan, Soying's Silk Demon Bound Formation, and Ifrit's Flame Explosion Prison Array. But even so, these skills are pretty scary. The magic skills have been demonstrated, it's time to go. Lan said to the girls. We were all frightened by you. Alice gave him a white look. Immediately, everyone chatted and left the 27th floor. 2 days later, they finally reached the 38th floor. The supporters who need protection have been waiting for a long time. After the 2 sides confirm their identities, they are ready to rest for a day and then return. Lan went to the 38th floor alone while everyone was resting. He found the refresh floor of the Wyvern and began to expand the 3rd Army of the Shadow Legion. With both the Army and the Navy, the 3rd Army is naturally the Air Force. Being alone, Lan let go, slaughtering the Wyvern with all his might, and then using the God of Darkness to bring it back to life. In 1 day and 1 night, the number of the 3rd Army reached 300. Lan still felt a little bit less, but the dungeon refresh rate couldn't keep up, so he couldn't do anything about it. After returning to the 38th floor, Alice and the others were also preparing to leave. Because we have to protect a team of supporters, the speed of going back is not fast. On the way through the floors of the Minotaur and the Demi-Merman, Lan took advantage of the fact that he expanded the number of the 1st and 2nd Corps to 300. Chapter 24 Divine Body Transformation. Star Dragon God. Within a week, everyone returned to Orario and successfully completed the mission. After this small expedition, Alice defeated Goliath alone, and then joined Lan, Liu, and Kaguya to defeat Amphius Valina. Such great achievements are enough to upgrade. Lan followed Alice and the others to the Astrea Familia, and he also wanted to see Alice's attributes. Astrea first helped her update her basic stats. Name, Alexa Raphael. Level, LV4. Abilities, Strength, A852 rightward arrow S963 durability, A888 rightward arrow S951 dexterity, B712 rightward arrow A801 agility, B723 rightward arrow A816 magic, C627 rightward arrow B709. Development ability, Hunter F, abnormal resistance I, magic defense I. Magic, safflower chickweed, Yanhua. Skill, Masaka Hongsaki. Strength and durability have been upgraded to S level, dexterity and agility have been upgraded to A level, and magic power is B level. This is already quite a gorgeous ability value. After all, except for the male protagonist Belle, few people can raise the ability value to S rank. The next step is to upgrade. After the level is upgraded to LV5, the ability value will all return to 0. However, the development ability Hunter has been upgraded to E level, and the abnormal resistance has also been upgraded to F level. In this way, the Astrea Familia will have its first LV5 member. Next, Liu, Kagaya, Lila, and Niz also updated their favors. Ryu and Kagaya's stats have grown a lot, but not enough to level up. On the contrary, Lila's ability value has been greatly improved. As long as she completes an adventure, she can upgrade to LV4. Niz's stat only increased a little, almost negligible. After the girls renew their favors, Enlan is invited by them to join the celebration of the rich hostess. If someone treats you, of course you won't refuse. After the celebration was over, Enlan, who was full of food and drink, returned home and could finally sleep. During this time, whenever Alyssa and the others were resting, he acted alone and never slept. Although he doesn't need to rest as a dragon seed, he still enjoys the feeling of not having to think about anything after falling asleep. The next day I slept until I woke up naturally and got up to sign in. Today, Enlan intends to make one, return to the pre-traveling world, and obtain his genetic information. With the help of Theosophical Core Paimon, according to the origin of his soul, he found the world before he passed through. Then use the time and space control of Void God to open the gate of time and space. Earth, an ordinary community on the outskirts of Jinling City. Enlan, who quit her job, stayed at home for 3 months, and then came out after a fight with her parents. I originally planned to go to an internet cafe and sit for a while, but as soon as I walked out of the gate of the community, I saw an out-of-control Tesla crashing into a little girl. It might be because his brain didn't keep up with the body's reaction speed. Even though it was such a dangerous thing, he rushed out and pushed the little girl away. As a result, he was hit and fell in a pool of blood. An ambulance arrived quickly and took him to the hospital. Unfortunately, he could not be rescued and lost his vital features. After hearing the news, the parents cried in pain, annoyed that they should not quarrel with their children. At the same time, a portal of time and space appeared in the rescue room of the hospital. Enlan from the wrong world is back. Looking at himself lying on a hospital bed without his vital features, Enlan used healing magic to bring himself back to life. Then he took a piece of genetic information from himself and entered the gate of time and space again. The gate of time and space disappeared, as if it had never appeared. However, Enlan, who was originally dead, regained his vital signs and all his injuries were healed. When the doctor came in, he was almost scared to death when he saw Enlan who had come back to life. This incident shocked the entire hospital, the dean and vice president, and the chief physicians of the major departments all came. Then, under the supervision of many doctors, an Ian's whole body examination began. It was found that Enlan was not only fully recovered from his injuries, but his body was also extremely healthy, and all the indicators were in the best state. No reason could be found, but in the end it could only be regarded as a miracle. When the parents found out that Enlan was not dead, they were very excited. After this incident, Enlan also knew the value of life and apologized to his parents. The parents almost lost their son, so naturally they don't care, they just want Lan to be safe. This time after the catastrophe, the family's affection has also been sublimated. Back in the wrong world, Lan couldn't wait to ask Psycho Core Paimon to help him restore his gender. Paimon is also unambiguous, analyzing the genetic information in 1 second, and also eliminating the defects in the gene to make it more perfect. At this time, Lan took out another bottle with a drop of blood in it. This is divine blood, which he asked for Astrea last night. Devouring the divine blood, Paimon began to analyze the divine blood again. Master Lan, the analysis has been completed, and the divine body can be transformed. Bring it on. The genetic information of the previous life is the main, and the body is transformed into the body of a god. With Paimon's transformation, an Aeon's magic power begins to transform into divine power. The life race has begun to evolve again, and its strength is also growing rapidly. I don't know how long it took, and Aeon's body finally changed from a slime to a boy of about 16 years old. The young man has silver-white broken hair, his eyes are red, and his body exudes an unparalleled powerful aura. If the infinite barrier had not been arranged in advance, it is estimated that the entire gods of Orario would have discovered him. Congratulations, Mr. Lan, you have evolved from the dragon demon sticky star god body to the star dragon god. Your magic power has evolved into divine power, and holy devil attack resistance has evolved into holy devil attack invalid. Is this what God feels like? Lan clasped his hands, feeling that it was easier than ever to control his own power. With a wave of his hand, a mirror appeared in front of him. The appearance is very handsome, the body is perfect in all aspects, and the most important thing is that the brother is back, and it has also been optimized. From this moment on, it is finally no longer nonsense. Use divine power to create a piece of clothing and wear it, and then open your own attribute panel. Name, Lan. Race, Star Dragon God. Asylum, the grace of friendship, the protection of the swordsman. Magic, Chi-Do, elemental magic, physical magic, dragon species magic, high-level demon summoning, high-level spirit summoning. Sanity core, Manas Paimon, thinking acceleration, analysis and appraisal, parallel calculation, chant breaking, all kinds of things, unity and separation, future attack prediction, food chain, thought control, law control, attribute transformation. Inherent ability, universal perception, dragon spirit domineering, universal change. Ultimate abilities, God of Void, King of Toyano, God of Shadows. All resistances, invalid pain, invalid corrosion, invalid current, invalid temperature change, invalid physical attack, invalid natural influence, invalid status abnormal, invalid mental attack, invalid holy demon attack. Chapter 25 Full-Time Glory. Form a family. Evolved into a star dragon god, with the body of a dragon god, Lan not only regained his gender, but also possessed the blood of a god. In other words, he is now a real god, and can use favor to create his own family. This made Lan confused for a while. Should he create a family? With invincible power, he is not pursuing power like he did at the beginning, and he is crazy to unlock the cute king skills. Endless life, to learn to enjoy and pleasure. This change in mentality made him finally understand why the gods and goddesses in the wrong world ran down to seal the divine power and then develop their family. If that's the case, then I'll create the strongest family. As for the family members, naturally they cannot be ordinary people. You can travel through the heavens and the world, why should you be confined to a wrong world? The geniuses in the wrong world already have relatives, so are they going to dig a corner? It's not in his character. Since there are no geniuses in this world, then go to other worlds to find them. I have seen so many anime and novels in my previous life, so I don't want too many geniuses. For example, Dongfang Yu, Gai Nai, Wei Chuang, Yeshiu, Chi, Li Shen, Blank, Levi, Lu Luxiu, Jinwian, Ezds, Ayanokaji Qinglong, Purgatory Xingjulan. Whether it is decent or rebellious, as long as it is a character you like, gather them together and become my and Ian's family. The top of the gods, proud of the world, with me, and Lan, there will be heaven. The 10th season of the Glory Professional League came to an end, and Team Happy led by the great god Yeshiu finally won the championship. Whether it was the audience at the scene, or the players in front of the computer or the TV, they were all boiling. Yeshen, he once again proved himself. After Team Happy finished celebrating, he went to the roof of the internet cafe by himself to smoke. Winning this championship is also a wish fulfilled. Is it time to go home? Also, it's time to propose to Muchen. However, just as he was thinking about things, a golden circular ripple suddenly appeared in the space next to him, like the gate of time and space. Yeshiu was taken aback, thinking that he had played too many games and had hallucinations. But then, a boy who looked only 15 or 16 years old came out of the golden ripples. The boy has silver hair and red eyes, and his handsome appearance looks like a character who came out of a cartoon. Yeshiu won the game. And Lan asked suddenly, looking at the man in front of him. Who are you? Yeshiu didn't answer, but asked instead. It doesn't matter who I am, what matters is, do you still like to play games? Of course, Glory won't get tired of playing for another 10 years. I'm not talking about Glory. Have you ever thought about changing a game, such as entering the game world and experiencing it yourself? What do you mean? My name is Lan, a god from another world. I want to develop my own family. I think you are very talented and can be my family. I didn't expect that there is really a god in this world. If I become a family member, I can enter the game in person. Yes, that world is just like a game, fighting monsters to upgrade. Forget it, I only belong to Glory. Don't be in a hurry to refuse. Since I am a god, I can naturally accomplish things that humans cannot, such as resurrecting Sumukilu. Before Lan could finish speaking, Yeshiu grabbed his arms. I saw his eyes were red, staring at Lan and asking, can you really resurrect Muqiu? At this moment, even in the face of God, he was not afraid at all. Yes, the condition is that you become my family, and the level rises to LV6. I promise you. Yeshiu agreed without thinking. Lan smiled, and the first familiar became. You take off your shirt, I will give you a favor. With it, you can fight monsters and upgrade, and develop your own potential. Yeshiu took off his shirt, then Lan cut his fingers and dripped a drop of divine blood on his back. Immediately, the tattoo of the star ring dragon appeared on the back. Each family's favor map is different. For example, Hestia is the kitchen god, so blessing is the holy fire. Loki is the god of deceit, and Grace is the clown. As the star dragon god, Lan is naturally dominated by dragons. In addition to totem tattoos, there are sacred texts that record messages. This needs to be translated so that mortals can understand it. Give you 3 days to deal with your own affairs, and then I will take you away. After speaking, Lan left. Although Yeshiu agreed to revive Sumukiu, he was also looking forward to another world. Just change the game. 3 days passed quickly, and what Lan didn't expect was that Yeshiu had told Sumuchen about himself in addition to going home for the past 3 days. On the roof of Happy Internet Cafe, Sumuchen looked at Lan excitedly and asked, Sir, can you really resurrect my brother? Yes, but I have already said that Yeshiu must join my clan and raise the level to LV6. Lan didn't hide it, and revealed his deal with Yeshiu. That's great, I want to join your clan too. Sumuchen was very happy. In order to revive the big brother, she would also join in, and then assist Yeshiu in leveling up. Are you sure you want her to join? And Lan asked Yeshiu. This is her own decision, and with her assistance, I might level up faster. Yeshiu nodded and said with a serious expression. In that case, Sumachin, you are my second family. And Lan smiled with satisfaction. Buy one get one free, earn blood. The next step was to give Sumachin favor. And Lan didn't take advantage of her, didn't ask her to take off her clothes, she just pulled up her shirt to reveal her back. This time, I took in 2 family members, but it was not enough. And Lan opened the gate of time and space, and took Yeshiu and Sumachin to travel again. In the Bedhost city, and Lan brought Yeshiu and Sumachin directly to the group of dead bodies, zombies. Leaving the world of glory, they came to a world full of corpses. Looking at the countless dead bodies around, Yeshiu and Sumachin's expressions changed in shock. Don't worry, it's just some moving corpses. And Lan snapped his fingers, and a transparent barrier enveloped the 3 of them, isolating all the dead bodies. Although the dead body is very powerful, it moves slowly. As long as there are weapons, ordinary people can easily kill it. These dead bodies are very suitable for the 2 of you to level up. After An Lan finished speaking, he opened a gap in the barrier and put 2 corpses in. I'm going, even if you ask me to kill the body, you have to give me a weapon. Yeshiu said angrily. What weapon do you want? An Lan asked. Gun. It's very smart. To deal with a highly infectious existence like a corpse, the longer the weapon, the better. An Lan praised. Randomly create an alloy spear and throw it to him. Chapter 26, Poison Island Psycho. Yeah, I'm talking about a pistol, Bayu's pistol. Yeshiu hurriedly explained. And Ian's face suddenly darkened. No pistols, only cold weapons. Then he looked at Sumachin and asked, what weapon do you want? Bow and arrow. Sumachin actually said that he wanted artillery, but in the end he changed it to bows and arrows. No nonsense, and Lan created a bow and 10 arrows for her. Next, the 2 began their first fight with the dead. Although they are all game gods, this kind of actual combat is the first time. Yeshiu held the alloy gun, beating and stabbing the dead body frantically. But no matter how hard he poked, he couldn't kill him, and he was almost bitten by a dead body. Sumachin kept running, widening the distance from the dead body, and then shot him with an arrow. It's a pity that the head is a bit poor, and the power of the arrow is not enough. Even if the arrow hits the dead body, it can only penetrate a little. After a long time, the 2 of them killed the dead body with difficulty, and they were tired and panting. And Lan let them rest for a while, and when their strength recovered, they put 2 dead bodies in again. Yeshiu and Sumachin were speechless. It turned out that it was so tiring to play the game in person. Previously only needed to operate on the computer on the line. And Lan split up a clone and let Paimon control the clone to protect the 2 from actual combat training, and then left by himself. The world this time is school apocalypse, so his target is Psycho Pashima, a swordsman genius. First of all, I came to Fujime Garden, but unfortunately there is no one alive in it. With that said, the protagonists have already escaped. And Lan flew over the city, and the huge spiritual perception quickly spread out. The entire city, even the entire island country and the earth, is under his scan. Soon, he found the target. The 3rd family, found you. A smile appeared on the corner of an Ian's mouth, and a teleport disappeared. In the school bus of Fujime Garden, a group of students and teachers had just escaped from the campus. At this time, however, they were in conflict. The heroine, Miyamoto Rei, was reluctant to stay with teacher Koichi Shito because she knew what he was like. For a time, the protagonist group and the teachers and students headed by Wisteria Koichi had a conflict. And just when Miyamoto Rei couldn't bear it anymore and wanted to get off the car, An Lan fell from the sky and landed in front of the car. Everyone was dumbfounded. What happened to this world? First the dead virus, and then the flying humans. Enlan ignored them and entered the car with a teleport. He came to Psycho Pashima and said, "Do you want to release your true self and gain more power?" Kazuhime Psycho was stunned, his eyes flickering constantly. She didn't tell anyone about her serious violent tendencies. Why did the teenager in front of her know? "BD, who exactly are you?" Suddenly, the male protagonist Komuro Takashi rushed out and said. Enlan ignored him, but a layer of barrier appeared beside him and let it block it. As a god, in fact, mere mortals can get close to him, which is blasphemy against God. Psycho Pashima calmed down quickly, and then asked in a cold voice, "Why do you know? I'm a god from another world, so you can think that I know everything. Now I'm traveling in various worlds, looking for people with talent to become my family. Would you like to?" And Ian's answer not only stunned Psycho Pashima, but everyone in the school bus was the same. But they don't feel that Enlan is lying, because his various manifestations are inhuman. For example, flying down from the sky, instantly moving into the car, and the enchantment beside him, these are not means that humans can have. The great god actually went down to the earth to find his family. I can become your believer. Do you think I have talent? Shito Koichi's voice suddenly came, and then he ran to Enlan and knelt on the ground like a loyal believer. This guy is very smart, and now the world has become like this. Whether he can survive or not is unknown. If you become a family of God, you will definitely be able to obtain protection. It may even be possible to obtain the power of eternal life from God. I have to say that as a treacherous adult, his mind is far more shrewd than the students in the car. It's a pity that Enlan knew about Wisteria Koichi as a human being. Roll. Gently uttering a word, Hero Wisteria, who was kneeling on the ground, went blank and fainted. This is a mental attack. Even if you wake up, you will become a fool. How can a fool survive in this world? Seeing this scene, except for the protagonist group, the other students were frightened. Miyamoto Rei was so happy in her heart that she even changed the way she looked at Enlan. That. Lord Tenjin, can I be your family? Miyamoto Rei suddenly asked boldly. This scene made the male protagonist Komuro Takayo show an angry expression. He and Miyamoto Rei were childhood sweethearts, but Miyamoto Rei became the girlfriend of his best friend Jing Haoong. At the end of the day, Jing Haoong became a dead body. When he killed Jing Haoong, he was even a little excited. Jing Haoong is dead, so Miyamoto Rei should belong to him. As a result, Miyamoto Rei now has a good impression of Enlan again, which makes him not angry. Seeing this, Sayajao Ken hurriedly grabbed him, worried that he would do something stupid. The other party is a god, and not mortals can disobey. Komuro Takaya calmed down, and was also afraid for a while. He could only hold back his anger and dare not show it. Enlan turned to look at Miyamoto Rei and refused, "You can't." Miyamoto Rei was suddenly disappointed, but Komuro Takayo was very happy. In fact, Miyamoto Rei still has some talents, especially in spear skills. But Enlan doesn't like her very much, especially her boyfriend Jing Haoyong just died, and then got together with Komuro Taka. In the original book, she became Jing Haoong's girlfriend, but in fact, it was more of a disappointment with Komuro Takaya and intentionally stimulated him. The taste of this green tea is really unpleasant. It is because of this that Enlan cannot accept Miyamoto Rei as a family. I promise you. After thinking for a long time, Psycho Pashima finally agreed. She really wanted to obey her heart and release the violent and bloodthirsty side of her heart. It may be cool to stay in this world to kill the body, but it will be more fun to fight against the real powerhouse. What's more, she also wants to gain powerful power and become a family of gods. This is an opportunity. As long as you're not an idiot, you'll agree. Welcome to the third member of the Enlan family. Enlan said with a smile. Are we leaving now? Kazuhime Saiko asked. Are you still doing something? Enlan asked rhetorically. Well, I want to ask your help to send my friends to a safe place. Saiko Dushima said and looked at Jichuan Shizuka and the others. No problem. Enlan nodded. With a snap of his fingers, the large teleportation array opened. Komuro Takeya, Miyamoto Rei, Takagi Saya, Hirano Toda, Jichuan Shizuka, all the protagonists disappeared, leaving only a carload of staff. Chapter 27 Return to the Wrong Place. Appearing again, everyone has come to a high-end villa. Hey, this is Asyang's home. Jichuan Shizuka said in surprise when she saw the surrounding scenery. This is the home of the policeman Nan Lixiang. She is a friend of Jichuan Shizuka. She has a collection of firearms and weapons, as well as a military-modified Hummer H1. With these things, you will be safe for the time being. Enlan directly told the protagonist group. They said. Little brother, you are really a god. You even know about Asyang's collection of firearms. Jichuan Shizuka was so stunned that she seemed to believe that he was a god at this moment. There's actually a gun and a military-modified Humvee. It's great. Toda, a military nerd, was so excited. Are you relieved now? Enlan asked, looking at Saiko Pashima. Yeah. Poison Island. Saiko nodded. Let's go then. Enlan said and took her away again. When the protagonists saw the disappearance of the two, they were actually a little envious. Enlan brought the Poison Island Saiko to the place where Yeshiu and Sumachin were. At this time, the two were under the surveillance of their clones, killing the dead one by one. Seeing the two of them, Saiko Dushima couldn't help but ask, they are also your relatives? That's right. Enlan nodded. Poison Island Saiko was a little strange, feeling that Yeshiu and Sumachin didn't have any special talents either. Physical strength is very poor, killing a dead body is very laborious. Little did she know, however, that Enlan chose them because of their game savvy. For example, the blank brothers and sisters in the world of Game of Life, do you dare to say that they are not strong? Yeshiu's strength lies in his understanding and mastery of the game. The upgrade system of the dungeon is actually similar to the game. After Enlan came back, he put away his avatar and also let Yeshiu and Sumachin rest. This female high school student from the island country is also your newly recruited family. Yeshiu couldn't help but ask after seeing Saiko Pashima. Yes, her kendo talent is very strong. Enlan nodded. How strong can a female high school student be? Yeshiu was not only curious. She alone can kill a group of dead bodies with a wooden knife. Enlan rolled his eyes at him and said. So powerful. Yeshiu showed a surprised expression. So, as the first person in the family, don't be left too far, it will be very embarrassing. Enlan stimulated intentionally. Cut, when it comes to game upgrades, who am I, Yeshiu, afraid of? Yeshiu said disdainfully. I hope so. Enlan tapped him on the shoulder. The upgrade of the wrong world is not simply by killing monsters. It also requires tenacity of will, and greed for power. Continue to take risks and accomplish feats that the gods marveled at. Only in this way can you upgrade step by step and become a strong one. Next, Enlan also gave Pashima Saiko a favor, asking her to kill the body together with Yeshiu and Sumachin. It wasn't until it was dark that Enlan stopped the three of them. Take them to the best hotel in the city, clean up the dead bodies in the hotel with one skill, and then set up a barrier. In this way, this hotel serves as their temporary residence. The next day, Enlan is to supervise them to kill the body every day, exercise fighting skills. Yeshiu practiced spear art, Sumachin practiced bow and arrow, and Dushima Saiko practiced sword art. Fight and train during the day and rest at night. Every 3 days, Enlan renews the favors for them. Just like that, the days passed by. A month and a half later, Yeshiu and Sumuchin finally had some basic strength, and when they returned to the wrong world, they could go to the dungeon. Saiko Tojima was amazed by Enlan. By killing the body alone, in more than 40 days, he actually raised all other attributes except magic power to D rank. Perhaps it was because she was originally strong that she improved so quickly. During this time, Enlan has done a few things besides supervising the training of the three. That is to send Nanrika from the airport to the protagonist group. After all, he took away the battle force of Saiko Dushima. In order to prevent the protagonist group from being destroyed, he sent another high-end battle force. In this way, Nanrika took the place of Kazu's Hima Saiko in the protagonist group. Immediately afterwards, he was a good man to the end, and sent the protagonist group to the Joken mansion. Because Shido Koichi is dead, I believe that the Joken family will not have the same accident as the original. The protagonist group plus Joken Saya's parents, this fighting force is enough for them to survive in this world. Enlan helps the protagonist group, in fact, it is also in Saiko's face, which makes her more loyal. Now that these things are done, it's time to leave. I'm finally leaving. Which world are we going to recruit family members this time? Yeshiu asked expectantly. No more recruiting. When the three of you reach LV2, I will recruit the second batch of members. After Enlan finished speaking, he used his ultimate ability God of the Void and left with the three of them. After returning to Orari, Enlan told them the common sense of this world. After the three of them finished listening, the eyes they looked at Enlan changed. That look is like looking at the old sixth. So, you are not the god of this world. No wonder you are in a different world with the background of ancient Europe. You are all modern products here. Yeshiu said exaggeratedly, looking at the arrangement of an Ian's house. If you can enjoy material life, why suffer? Enlan asked in disdain. I think so too. I was worried that it would be boring in this world without technology, but now I don't. Sumuchin was very open. An Ian's home is basically the same as a modern home, except that there is no internet. But even if there is no internet, his USB flash drive has downloaded countless movies, TV series, and animations, as well as various game consoles, and entertainment will never be boring. I don't care about that. In fact, what I'm looking forward to more is the dungeon. Saiko Pashima couldn't wait to fight monsters. Entering the dungeon, you can not only kill monsters, but also release your inner violence and gain experience to upgrade. Enlan asked the three of them to go to the second floor to choose a room by themselves, and then left them alone. As a result, there were only 3 rooms on the second floor, and Enlan occupied one. For this reason, Sumuchin and Poison Island Saiko could only live in one room. Looks like I'm going to buy a house again. Enlan said speechlessly. Fortunately, I am not short of money now, and I made more than 500 million wallas in the small town of Rivera before. This time across the world, it is not the world pass opened by the system treasure chest, but an Ian's own ability. So you can choose the time to return, it can be 1 second after crossing, or it can be 1 year after crossing. Enlan chose the day after the time travel, so it was only a day since he left the wrong world. Chapter 28 Tactics. Fighter's Will. Enlan gave Yeshiu and the 3 of them 1 day to get acquainted with Orari, and then led them into the dungeon the next day. Yeshiu was very excited when he saw monsters that he could only see in games before, such as goblins. It seems that I have found the feeling of playing games, and I began to earnestly brush monsters and level up. Saiko Pashima also started to kill, releasing the inner violence. As an archer, Sumuchin was in charge of remote support. While killing monsters, the 3 are also cooperating with each other. Yeshiu is worthy of being the god of glory. Once he understands the game mechanics, he can quickly make the best response choices. As the captain who nurtured Team Happy, he has the potential to be the leader of the family. But the head of a family cannot only have brains, but also needs strength to convince the crowd. What's more, in an Ian's heart, there are actually some candidates for the head of the regiment. Whether Yeshiu can stand out is up to him. Enlan got bored after staying for a while, and summoned 3 shadow soldiers of the Minotaur who merged into the shadows of Yeshiu and the 3 to protect them. Until their lives are in danger, the Minotaurs hidden in their shadows will not take action. After doing all this, Enlan patted his butt and left. He first came to the 18th floor, and under the universal perception, he found the entrance to the artificial labyrinth. The entrance door is forged from olihosteel, which can be said to be the hardest metal in the world. Enlan did not force open the door, but left after scanning and analyzing the structure of the metal. Returning to Orari, he copied a piece of olihosteel based on the results of the analysis and identification. Such a big piece is enough to make 3 weapons. That's right, he's going to use olihosteel to build the weapon himself. Although he has not specifically learned about forging, he has a lot of weapons. By analyzing the weapons, he can also restore the forging process. A single piece of olihosteel is definitely not enough, and other materials are created with material creation. There are a variety of materials from the world of Menwang. Because King Mo devoured Sakaguchi Hineda's weapon, the forging materials in her weapon were also analyzed. Everything is ready and the forging officially begins. Enlan divided the olihosteel into 3 pieces, picked up 1 piece, and burned it directly with black flame. The temperature of the black flame is very high, even surpassing the sun, so the strength must be controlled so that the olihosteel cannot be melted. The olihosteel was quickly reddened, and Enlan pulled the flames and picked up a large hammer and began to strike. A powerful weapon is born under 1,000 trials and tribulations. During the forging process, other materials must be added. For example, what he is forging is a gun now, so the gun body can't use olihosteel completely, and other metal fusion needs to be added to make it willful. The gun blade must use the hardest olihosteel to ensure its sharpness. Next is to engrave a magic circle on the gun and enchant it. At the connection between the gun head and the gun body, there is a groove inlaid with magic stones. In the later stage, magic stones can be inlaid to increase the power. Over time, the first weapon was finally forged. This is a black magic gun overall, and the head of the gun looks more like a knife. That's right, this gun is called Kaseya, and it's the weapon of Yeshiu's account of Battle Mage. The appearance is forged according to the appearance in the previous life animation, because it is very handsome, so I copied it. Next, Enlan began to forge the remaining 2 weapons. Sumuchin's bow and arrow, and Psycho's sword. The forging process is the same as before, but the appearance of the weapon has changed. The appearance of Sumuchin's bow and arrow, Enlan was forged according to the noble phantasm of the heroic spirit Atlanta in the Xingyu world, which is the indictment of the arrow. The overall appearance is black, and the bow body has golden flow patterns, which is very beautiful. In addition to the bow, there are 12 exclusive arrows. Ordinary arrows can be used in normal battles. If there are special circumstances, these 12 arrows will be the killer. Psycho's sword, Enlan was forged according to the weapon of Miss 2B in the game Nier Automata, which is the white contract. The overall appearance is silver white, the blade is tough, and the blade is sharp. It can be said to be a very perfect sword. The 3 weapons used a lot of precious materials, and all of them surpass the sword of Sakaguchi Hineda. If this is sold in Orari, each piece is worth hundreds of millions. After the weapon was forged, Enlan was not in a hurry to give it to Yeshiu and the others. At present, they are only level 1, giving them 2 powerful weapons will make them dependent on weapons. In the early stage, I still use ordinary weapons to overdo it, so as to exercise myself. Next, Enlan forged armor for the 3 of them. Yeshiu's armor is relatively simple, it is forged according to the set of the game character One Leaf's Haikyuu in the anime. The overall appearance is black and gold, and it is more domineering when matched with the war spear. Sumachin and Psycho Pashima were women, and the armor that Enlan forged for them was light armor. It is mainly a four-piece suit of combat boots, knee pads, breastplates, and arm guards, which are lighter and more beautiful to wear. All forging is over, and the sky is dark. It didn't take long for the three of Yeshiu to return with their tired bodies. After dinner, Enlan updated the favors for them one by one. Name, Yeshiu. Level, LV1. Abilities, Strength, F37H rightward arrow E401 Durability, F390 rightward arrow E422 Dex, F396 rightward arrow E417 Agility, F399 rightward arrow E433 Magic, G266 rightward arrow G289. Development Ability. Magic, Magic Dochi. Skill, Fighter's Will. Magic Fight. Convert magic power into Dochi, you can use Dochi skills, convert Dochi into magic, you can use magic skills. Battle and Law, both are magic fighting skills. The Will of the Fighter. Evolve yourself in battle by making combos and improve your combat status. Good Guy, Enlan knows Good Guy. In addition to a large increase in ability value, he actually awakened magic and skills at the same time. Are you hanging up? Enlan looked at Yeshiu and asked. What's wrong? Yeshiu looked puzzled. Enlan is also nonsense, and translates the engraving of his favor for himself. It's them. After Yeshiu read it, his expression was a little weird. Sumachin also looked over, and was equally astonished. This is the skill of a battle mage. I didn't expect you to awaken them. I don't know either. It's just that when I was fighting monsters today, I always unconsciously used the skills in the game. Yeshiu showed a confident smile, as if he had found the gameplay mechanism of the ground fault upgrade system. I'll try it tomorrow. Sumachin immediately became interested when she heard it. You're a gunnery, how do you try? Enlan felt like she was a little dumbfounded. That's right, damn it. Sumachin was suddenly disappointed. Chapter 29 Awakening Magic, Dazzling Pattern. Next, it was Sumachin's turn to update her favor. Name, Sumachin. Level, LV1. Abilities, Strength, F312 rightward arrow F333 Durability, G290 rightward arrow F307 Dex, F399 rightward arrow E427 Agility, F396 rightward arrow E419 Magic, G202 rightward arrow G222. Development Ability. Magic. Skill. Sumachin was relatively bleak, except for his high dexterity and agility, everything else was average, and his magic and skills were not awakened. Enlan shook his head in disappointment and began to renew his favors for Psycho Pashima. Name, Poison Island Psycho. Level, LV1. Abilities, Strength, D513 rightward arrow D555 Durability, D502 rightward arrow D527 Dex, D570 rightward arrow D599 Agility, D566 rightward arrow D597 Magic, G286 rightward arrow F309. Development Ability. Magic. Skill. Psycho Pashima's ability value increased rapidly, but there was no awakening skills or magic. The growth of the three people is very fast, but there is a problem, that is, the magic power is particularly slow. If you want to increase your magic power, you can only consume magic power and use magic power continuously during battle. It's a pity that the three of them don't have magic skills. Except for adding magic power to their weapons, they won't be able to do anything else during battle. Yeshiu has awakened his magic fighting spirit, and his magic power will increase very quickly in the future. But Sumachin and Psycho Pashima had nothing to do, unless the two girls could also awaken magic. But is magic so well awakened? There is another way, that is to buy a magic book and awaken magic the day after tomorrow. Thinking of this, Enlan already had an idea. The next day, the three Yeshiu continued to team up to fight monsters in the dungeon. Enlan came to the shops in the Tower of Babel, which are all high-end shops, just like modern shopping malls. For example, the Faith Tas family, the god of craftsmanship, opened a weapon shop here, selling all high-end weapons. Enlan found a shop that sold magic books, pretended to buy it, but secretly asked Psycho Core Paimon for analysis and identification. After completing the parsing, he left. Back home, Enlan directly copied 3 magic books. I have to say, the Sans core is really perverted. The magic book of the wrong world is more like inspiration. According to the reader's inner thoughts, the corresponding magic is awakened. But Enlan suddenly thought, if some of his skills are recorded in the magic book, can the family members learn it? Try a little magic first, the water ice magic gun. First construct the magic book with divine power, and then write the principle of the water ice magic spear into it. The whole process is like coding by a programmer. Will you not go bald in the future? Soon, a magic book was completed. Success. A smile appeared on an Ian's mouth, and his life is just like that. The matter of the family members learning magic was settled so easily, so there was only one last thing left. Sumuchin's bow and arrow. Bow and arrow can be said to be an unpopular profession. Enlan has read a lot of anime and novels in his previous life, and there are not many strong people who use bow and arrow. Of course, this does not include the archer servants of the moon world. By the way, I also have a golden Sagittarius garment. Enlan suddenly thought of the reward from the last time he opened the silver treasure chest. This top-level sacred garment of the zodiac is engraved with the skills of the owners of the past dynasties. Enlan took out the holy garment from the system backpack, and then analyzed the identification. Suddenly, all the skills related to Sagittarius were read out. Unfortunately, most of them are boxing techniques, such as Light Speed Fist, Destruction Light Speed Fist, and Atomic Lightning Light Speed Fist. There are only 2 skills related to bows and arrows, namely Golden Arrow and Shadow Arrow. Among them, the Golden Arrow is also called the Arrow of Killing the Gods. It is the Arrow of Shadow, which is a bit powerful. The secret arrow of Sagittarius, nailed to the shadow of the enemy, can make the opponent unable to move. This skill is good, and Lan learned it instantly through the Sans core, and transformed the skill into magic. Then through the magic book, record it. Finish. Enlan exhaled, and now Sumuchin's problem was solved. At night, the 3 Yeshiu returned from the dungeon. Enlan directly gave the 3 of them a magic book, which was the magic book he copied from the wrong world. He wanted to see what kind of magic the 3 of them could awaken. What is this? Yeshiu asked in confusion. Magic book. You can awaken magic according to your inner thoughts. Enlan explained to him. Are such precious magic books for us? Sumuchin was startled and couldn't believe it. In the past 2 days, she knew the value of magic books through her understanding of Orario. Not only is it extremely expensive, it is even priceless. If you can get it on the market, it will be more expensive than the original price. Take 3 books at a time to study for the family. Even the Freya family and the Loki family can't do it. What are you talking about? Hurry up and learn. Enlan said indifferently. It's just a mere magic book, and I didn't spend any money. I can copy as much as I want in the future. Yeshiu and the 3 were moved. Although they usually thought Enlan was a little unreliable, they were really heartwarming to the 3 of them. Next, the 3 of them each opened the magic book and began to study. Looking at it, all 3 of them fell asleep. The words on the magic book also disappeared. Enlan said with a smile on the corner of his mouth, "Don't let me down." An hour later, the 3 woke up from their stupor. and Lan starts to renew the favors for them to see what magic is awakened. The first is Yeshiu. Compared with yesterday, in addition to the improvement of abilities, there is another magic. Dazzling. Through different attack triggers to generate 5 different dazzling patterns. The dazzling patterns that are triggered will float around the body, and 7 is the upper limit. You can use the operation of dazzling patterns to make the dazzling patterns fly out of the attack target, and the dazzling patterns will automatically track the target and cannot be dodged. No attribute dazzling pattern, increase own movement speed. Ice attribute dazzling pattern, increases own physical defense, hits the target to produce stiffness, and ice attribute magic damage. Fire dazzling pattern, increase your own strength, hit the target to cause burning, fire magic damage. Light attribute dazzling pattern, increase agility and attack speed, hit the target to cause dizziness, and light attribute restores damage. Dark attribute dazzling pattern, increases magic power, hits the target to cause erosion, and dark attribute magic damage. It's so strong, it's much stronger than in the game, and it has a lot less restrictions. Yeshiu said excitedly when he saw his awakened magic. This dazzling pattern is also a skill in the Glory game, and it is the stunt of his tactics account. I didn't expect that after being manifested in the wrong world, the attribute is so strong. It's really strong. And Lan nodded. A magic comes with a variety of damage, as well as buff blessings such as stiffness, fire, dizziness, erosion, etc. It is definitely a nightmare for the enemy. Chapter 30. Within 6 feet, I am invincible. After watching Yeshiu's magic, it was Sumachin and Psycho Dushima. Magic arrow. Compress the magic power into arrows, the more magic power is collected, the stronger the arrows will be. The arrow can change its attributes, and it comes with 9 attributes of gold, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, light, and dark. Sumachin's awakening skills are also good, and she will be able to shoot energy arrows without using physical arrows in the future. The most important thing is the change of nature and form, which seems to be somewhat similar to the chakra of Naruto world. Gravity control. Gravity is changed by magic, the higher the magic, the stronger the gravity. The magic of Psycho Pashima's awakening is very simple, controlled by gravity. And Lan also has this magic, but I didn't expect her to awaken this kind of magic. Fortunately, gravity combined with swordsmanship reminded him of Fujitora of Pirate World and Kagura of Fairy Tale World. In battle, you can apply gravity to the enemy and reduce gravity to yourself. It even adds gravity when swinging the sword, giving the enemy a heavy blow. It has to be said that gravity and swordsmanship are a good match. The magic awakened by the 3 of them is very powerful, and it fits their actual situation, which makes Lan very gratified, and it is worthy of his busy time during this time. At night, Lan was lying on the bed, checking the system treasure box he had checked in during this time. Last time, there were more than 60 wooden treasure chests left unzeemphasized. Later, during the expedition of the Astria family, there were still 3 days in the world of glory, and more than 40 days in the campus apocalypse, and I signed in again. 72 wooden treasure chests. Including what was left from last time, there are a total of 135 wooden treasure chests. System: use 100 wooden treasure chests to synthesize a silver treasure chest. Ding, the synthesis is successful, get, silver treasure chest. Open the treasure chest. Ding, open the silver treasure chest and get, summoning card. And Ian's eyes lit up, this time with a novelty. Summon card, immediately summon the generals of the heavens, sign a contract with the summoner, and become a loyal subordinate. Summoning the generals of the heavens, it feels a bit like playing a card drawing game. I wonder if I can get SSR in a soul draw. And Lan said and used the summoning card. The card shattered into little stars, and then formed a magic circle like a descending spell in the open space of the room. This scene is a bit like the summoning of heroic spirits in the moon world. Immediately afterwards, the formation shone with a strong light. When the light dissipated, there was already another girl in an Ian's room. The girl looks sweet and cute, with long black hair tied in a ponytail, wearing a red and white one-piece battle dress, black over-the-knee socks on her slender and round thighs, silver metal boots on her feet, and black gloves on her left hand. Holding a crimson war gun, the spearhead is as dazzling as a red crystal. Subordinate Yunying, see the summoner. The girl suddenly knelt down on one knee and clasped her fist at Lan. I'm going, you are the Yunying who is invincible within 6 feet. Lan was stunned. How did he summon her? Is this an SSR? That's right, the commander's fire-grabbing gun can prevent the enemy from getting within 6 feet. Yunying nodded and said very confidently. Get up first, you don't need to call yourself the last commander, and you don't need to call me the summoner. I'm the god of this world, so you can join my family in the future. Lan said and touched Yunying's forehead. The background information and basic knowledge about this world were all transmitted to her using the skill conveying thoughts. Yunying frowned slightly, closed her eyes and digested it for a while. After opening her eyes, she saw an excited look in her eyes and said, I didn't expect this world to be so exciting. Lord Lan, Yunying is willing to join your family. Sure enough, she was still a little girl, and her nature recovered quickly. Okay, I'll give you a favor first. Yunying's face turned slightly red, and she turned her back to Lan. He carefully unbuttoned his shirt, revealing his jade-white upper back. Lan swallowed unconsciously. No way, he is no longer nonsense now, having a second brother will always be cranky. A drop of divine blood dripped on Yunying's back, and a tattoo of a star-ring dragon appeared on her white back. At this time, Yunying's attributes also came out. Name, Yunying. Level, LV1. Ability value, Strength, I0 Durability, I0 Dex, I0 Agility, I0 Magic, I0. Development Ability. Magic. Skills, Spear Intent, Fire-Grabbing God Spear. Gun Intent. Have the same mind with spear weapons. Every time you release a skill, you will comprehend one level of Spear Intent. The 3 levels of Spear Intent are, Firm Intent, Sharp Intent, and True Intent. A layer of Spear Intent Resolute Desire deals 4 damages to nearby enemies at close range, and gains shield defense. The second tier Spear Intent Sharp Destroyer Destroy the City stabs 3 mid-range attacks to deal damage. After hitting, it recovers its own injuries. The more serious the injury, the better the recovery effect. 3 layers of Spear Intent True Intent Liao Yuan will cause damage to all enemies in a straight line at a long distance after gaining momentum. The stronger the target's defense, the higher the damage. Fire-Grabbing Gun. Broken Moon, raise the gun to quickly provoke the enemy into the air and then slash down, causing 2 damages. The enemy hit by the first damage will be knocked into the air. Cloud Chasing, in charge state, get a continuous acceleration effect. When the charge is completed or when the charge is ended actively, dash forward and swing the weapon to sweep. The faster the movement speed, the higher the damage. Star Chasing, ignite the weapon, charge forward for a short period of time, and charge forward with a gust of wind, causing physical damage to enemies on the path, reducing damage during the assault, and stabbing 4 times in a row after the assault to the end, causing physical damage each time damage, then lift the gun back to the original place, inflict physical damage and knock up the enemies on the path, gain power and reduce damage during use. Howling Sun, sweep the weapon, causing physical damage to the enemy in the designated direction, while igniting the ground with the tip of the spear, leaving a continuous burning fire path, causing magic damage to the enemies within the range, and enemies approaching during the 2 assaults will be destroyed. Repel. Liao Yuan 100 slashes, the ultimate meaning, people, guns, and flames are one. Another opening. And Lan was very happy when he saw this property. One more genius will be added to his family. Yuning's strength is very strong, and it is enough to match the LV4 adventurer when placed in Orari. But no matter how strong a person is, the first time they get a favor, their ability value starts from 0. What Lan didn't expect was that although Yuning's power point was 0, she had her own dual skills, and her skills were very powerful. With her strength, I believe she will soon be able to raise her level to LV4, which is equal to her own strength. And Lan gave Yunying his room to rest, and then ran to Yeshiu's room. The next morning, when Yeshiu and the others saw Yunying, they thought that Lan was hiding from them last night and traveled to another world to collect family members. Lan didn't explain, just told them that he would take them to other gods' families later, so that they should not talk nonsense. Chapter 31 Singularity F. Burning Fuyuki. Next, Lan transformed into a girl in front of everyone. What's the situation? What are you doing when you become a woman? Yeshiu felt a little uneasy when he saw the appearance of an Ian's transformed girl. Not only him, but even the 3 daughters of Sumachan, Dushima Saiko, and Yuning widened their eyes with disbelief. Does the god of your own family have any special hobbies? Don't think about it, this is my identity in this world, and I am an adventurer just like you. Lan explained speechlessly. Then whose family do we call it to the outside world? Sumachan hurriedly asked. Lan is not the god of this world. If he hides his identity, he cannot be revealed as an Lan family. In the future, you will call yourself Nuwa's family, your gods are outside of Orari, and I, Lan, will be the head of the Nuwa's family. Lan instructed them. But if we lie, the gods will see through, right? Saiko Tojima found a loophole. Even if the gods of the wrong world have sealed their divine power, they can still see through lies, but they are only aimed at mortals. If they are of the same level, gods naturally cannot see through the lies of gods. Don't worry about this, I will set up a special barrier on you, so that God cannot see through your lies. Lan had already thought of a countermeasure. Now that everything has been planned, everyone has nothing to say. Next, Lan took the 4 to the Astria Familia. When the girls of Alice saw the companions of the family that Lan brought, they were all very surprised. Because Ian's strength is very strong, he has a level of LV4, but the 4 in front of him, except for the younger Yunying who seems to have some strength, the others are very weak, obviously all of them are newbies of level 1. Lan, are they really the same family as you? Alice asked her. Yeah, I just arrived at Orali these 2 days. Lan nodded. Then why did you bring them here? Arashi continued to ask. I came to Kagaya for help, and wanted her to teach Saiko's swordsmanship. Lan said his purpose. Gojoy Kagaya, titled Yamato Renton, is superb with one-handed island swordsmanship, especially her Igai slash, which is very powerful. Saiko Pashima's swordsmanship style is also an island country, and he is also very good at Ihezan. So it is very suitable for Kagaya to teach Saiko Pashima. Let me teach you. It's not impossible, but you have to help me forge a weapon. Kagaya came to Saiko Pashima and said after observing for a while. Yes. Lan agreed directly. Kagaya smiled, in fact, even if Lan didn't agree, she would teach Saiko Pashima. Because she can see from the cocoon of the sword practiced in the hands of Saiko Dushima, this is a good seedling. Moreover, Saiko Dushima knew that she was from the extreme east as soon as she heard the name. As a fellow villager, she was happy to help her. Lan, you gave Liu a sword, promised to give Lila a weapon, and now you promise to give Kagaya a weapon, don't you have mine? Arashi pretended to be heartbroken and wanted to break up with her exaggerated expression. There is, isn't it just a weapon, you can stop acting. Lan waved his hand helplessly. It's not too bad, I won't take advantage of you, and I will help you teach a family member. Arashi said happily. Forget it, you are good at using swords, they don't use swords, don't teach you wrong. And Lan quickly refused. Yeshiu and Yuning's weapons were spears and spears, while Sumachan's bows and arrows were not suitable for her to teach. There are masters of Orari with spears or spears, such as Finn of the Loki familia and Alan of the Freya familia. But Lan didn't know them well, so he couldn't let people teach him. What is a crooked teaching? I don't like to hear this. Although the weapon I major in is the sword, I can also use other weapons. Arashi said dissatisfiedly. Okay, I know you're amazing, but I've already helped them find a good mentor. And Lan stopped and said. There are not many senior adventurers who use spears and guns in Orari. Basically, I know them all. Is it Finn from the Loki family? Or is it Alan from the Freya family? Arashi guessed curiously. Don't guess, you can't guess. And Lan said with a look that you should give up. Impossible, it's not Finn and Alan, could it be Dix from the Ikaros family? Alissi continued to speculate. All right, I have other things to deal with. And Lan was helpless, and after he finished speaking, he took Yeshiu and the others away. On the way back, Saiko Tojima asked, Master and Lan, is that Gohano Kagaya strong? Well, there is a group of people living in the extreme eastern region of the world, known as the extreme eastern people. Their culture is similar to your island country, and her swordsmanship is also your island country's swordsmanship style. She is the best at Ihezan. And Lan points out nodding, he introduced to Saiko Pashima. Then what level is she? Kazuhima Saiko asked again. Currently level 4, it is estimated that it will not take long to reach level 5. And Lan replied. Understood, I will study hard and surpass her. Saiko Toshihima said firmly. Yes, I believe you. And Lan nodded. As expected of my family, that's how confident they are. In the next time, Lan took them to the Ganesha family to do foreign household registration and become the real Orari population. After doing all this, Saiko Pashima went to the Astria familia. Xianzi has a mentor, what about our teacher? Sumachan asked expectantly. I don't need a teacher, I have my own fire-grabbing gun. Yunying didn't care. Your teacher is not in this world, I will take you to other worlds to find a teacher. And Lan said calmly. These words surprised the three of them. Unexpectedly, in order to train them, Lan would travel to other worlds to find teachers, and they were very moved. After returning home, they cleaned up, and Lan took them out of the wrong world. It has to be said that it is cool to have the ability to traverse. This is like the Emperor in Kamen Rider, walking in different worlds and being a street boy. Singularity F, the burning city of Fuyuki. The dark night sky was illuminated by the raging fire. In the firelight, the entire city was in ruins, and the streets were full of skeletons with weapons. They hunted and killed the surviving humans everywhere. And Lan brought the three of Yeshiu to the roof of a building. Seeing the current scene, the three of Yeshiu frowned. This kind of feeling, won't it be the end of the world again? Sumachan unconsciously thought of the world of the apocalypse last time. It is indeed the end of the world, and your teacher is here. And Lan seemed to sense something and said with a smile. Chapter 32 Devouring Servants. Have you seen the skeleton soldiers below? These skeleton soldiers are not very strong, so treat them as monsters in the dungeon to practice their skills. I'll go find a master for you. And Lan pointed to the skeleton downstairs and said to the three of them. After speaking, he flew into the distance. Yeshiu expressed helplessness and went downstairs when he took out his weapon. Yunying was so excited that she jumped off the roof and came to the group of skeletons. I saw the long spear burning flames in her hand, turning on the unparalleled mowing mode. Isn't Yunying level 1? Sumuchin was a little puzzled when she saw this scene. She should have such strength before she received the gift. It seems that we have to do our best. Yeshiu explained to Sumuchin. Well, in order to resurrect my brother, I will work hard. Sumuchin nodded firmly. At the same time, Enlan also flew to the bridge in Fuiuki City. As soon as he came to Fuiuki City, he felt two auras far exceeding the skeleton soldiers fighting, and they were indeed shadow followers. Rider, Darius III. He was tall, with dark skin and a pair of huge horns on the top of his head. The black skin is engraved with golden lines, with a white hood on his head, and a huge giant elephant is riding under him. In addition to this, there is also a normal servant who is not contaminated, Castor, Cuculain. The two servants who were fighting noticed an Ian's arrival, and their expressions suddenly changed. Especially Cuculain, as a normal servant, he could feel the terrifying aura emanating from Enlan. This is God. Cuculain couldn't believe it. He was a hero of the Age of Gods during his lifetime. He studied under Skaha, Queen of the Kingdom of Shadows, and has seen countless gods. But the Age of Gods has long since ended, and God has long ceased to exist. The French dog, unfortunately it's not the gun dog. Enlan looked at Cuculain and said with a smack. On the other hand, the shadow servant rider Darius III did not know what terror was. Ah! The crotch mount roared angrily and rushed towards Enlan. Court death. Enlan snorted coldly, raised his right hand slightly, and activated the power of soul violence in the ultimate ability God of the Void. This is an evolved version of the integrated ability of the King of Gluttony, which can devour the opponent's everything, even the soul. Like a black hole, a terrifying vortex of suction and black energy erupted from the right hand. In front of this power, rider Darius III seemed so weak that he didn't even have the ability to resist, and was directly swallowed up. After Cuculain saw this scene, his face changed greatly. He didn't even think about it, he turned into a spiritual body and escaped. However, how could Enlan give him this chance? No matter how small a mosquito is, it's still meat. You can also become my magic power. Enlan snapped his fingers, and an enchantment enveloped him. Within the barrier, Cuculain's spiritual transformation failed. In desperation, he could only activate the noble phantasm. My magic is a cage of red flames, a green giant like flames, karmic retribution, the forest that purifies the disasters of the world, collapse, the flame cage that burns to the ground. As the magic chant ended, a huge wicker man appeared inside the barrier. The giant body made of countless thin wooden branches is wrapped in flames. Unfortunately, the giant's attack hit the barrier, and the barrier didn't move at all. How is this possible? Cuculain was stunned. And Ian's mouth showed a trace of disdain. If the mere noble phantasm could break the universal barrier, then the cute king wouldn't have to mess with it. When the Mo King evolves into the Demon King, the extra ability Multiple Enchantment evolves into the inherent ability Universal Enchantment, and the enchantment ability is qualitatively improved. Later, the Storm Dragon was released, and the hero skill Infinite Prison was analyzed. Based on Infinite Prison, it integrated some inherent abilities and all additional abilities to obtain the ultimate ability the King of Oaths, of which Omnipotent Enchantment was. It was integrated into it and became one of the abilities of the Oath King, and its power was strengthened again. Later, Psycho Korchar helped Meng Wang integrate the 4 ultimate abilities, and the Universal Barrier was also integrated into the Multidimensional Barrier, which was strengthened again. This kind of creation god-level skill is something that a mere noble phantasm can break. This is simply smashing Edmund alloys with eggs. Enlan ignored Cuculain's shock, and used his ability Soul Storm to devour him together with the barrier again. Swallowing 2 servants in a row increased his magic power a little bit. Although not many, mosquitoes are meat no matter how small they are. Isn't it enough to peek at the side? Enlan suddenly turned his head and looked into the woods on the side of the bridge. Discovered. Assassin Hassan al-Sabah was taken aback and ran away in a hurry. It's a pity that in front of Enlan, the strength gap is too huge, and he can't escape. Enlan appeared in front of him in a teleport, blocking his path. Assassin Hassan Sabah had no escape but to attack Enlan. Enlan doubled his fingers into a sword and swiped lightly. The protection of the sword saint. You can kill things that cannot be killed, and maximize the power of the sword. A 100-meter sword gang pierced the sky, and Assassin Hassan Sabah was instantly killed. Before his body becomes spiritualized, use Soul Storm to devour it. In this way, 3 of the 7 servants have been eliminated. 2 of them are going to stay as teachers, so it's time for the 4th to deal with Berserker Hercules. After speaking, Enlan disappeared with a teleport. The branch of Einsborn in Fuiuki City, a fortress resembling a snow castle. Berserker Hercules sat on the top of the fortress, holding an unmarked axe sword like a god of war. Enlan teleported over his head, causing him to roar immediately. As if no one was allowed to set foot here. Originally a berserker, he has no intelligence, but now he is more like a beast after being corrupted into a shadow servant. Enlan is not too long-winded, Soul Storm is activated. Berserker Hercules raised his axe and sword to resist, but it didn't work at all, and was swallowed up in less than a second. The gap in strength is so great that even his 12 noble phantasm trials don't work. Maybe he can't use it at all, because shadow servants can't use noble phantasms. But why Black Hairless can be used? Paimon, can you analyze the noble phantasm? Shadow servants were normal servants before they were polluted by black mud, and after being polluted, the Dumb King could use noble phantasms. Gilgamesh can also use noble phantasm after being given a body by black mud. So Enlan wanted to try it out and let Paimon analyze the noble phantasm. No way, he was also jealous of Hercules' 12 noble phantasm trials. Master Enlan, it can be parsed out, just separate the contaminated part from the servant and make it back to a normal servant. Sure enough, Paimon never let him down. Chapter 33 Invincible Attribute. Well, help me analyze the devoured servant, and I need Hercules' noble phantasm skills. Leave it to me, it will end soon. Next, Paimon began to analyze. After Enlan devoured Hercules, he did not digest and absorb it immediately, but was trapped in the imaginary space. This imaginary space is also one of the abilities of the Void God. This space evolved from the stomach of the previous predator, which is equivalent to a chaotic world. Mengwan used this trick to kill the final boss Yuuki in the final battle of the demons. As long as it is swallowed in, it will never get out. Either be digested and analyzed by Mengwan, or be locked up alone for a lifetime. Paimon cleans up all the black mud that polluted Hercules and restores it to a normal servant. Then he completely digested and absorbed Hercules and successfully analyzed the 12 trials of his noble phantasm. Master Enlan, the analysis is successful, you have obtained the 12 trials of noble phantasm, but I think this noble phantasm can be integrated with infinite regeneration. Do you need to integrate it? Combine. Without any hesitation, Enlan chose to unify. According to Mengwan's experience, as long as the sanity core thinks that it can be unified, it can definitely integrate magical skills. Successful integration. Congratulations to Mr. Enlan, you have obtained the ultimate ability Undying King. No matter what kind of injuries you suffer in the future, you can instantly recover, even if your body and soul are destroyed, you can resurrect again. It's awesome, I like it. Enlan smiled. With this ability, he dares to go to the advanced world to wave. For example, the world of Hakoniwa, the world of Gensokyo, the world of demons with demons, and so on. After solving 4 servants, there are only 3 left, 2 of them are the teachers they need, and one is the Black Hairless who has the Holy Grail. When I watched Fate in my previous life, my favorite character was the duo Mao Wang, and the blackened black hairless is also very sassy. Now that they have all come to this world, they must go and have a look. With the teleport, he came directly to Liudong Temple. At this time, He Wu Mao was guarding the polluted Great Holy Grail. In addition to the Big Grail, she also has a small grail. Unlimited magic, unlimited curry sticks. He is dressed in black armor, holds the black sword of Oath of Victory, and has long beige hair with a pair of golden pupils. Black Hairless also spotted Lan and looked up at him. Her eyes were flat, making people wonder what she was thinking. Only Lan knows that even though she is polluted, she is still guarding the city. Under an Ian's universal perception, you can even feel anticipation and relief from her. Because you perceive my strength, you are looking forward to fighting with me, and then being freed by being killed by me. Lan seemed to understand what she meant. He Wu Mao did not speak, the corners of his mouth twitched slightly. In the next second, the black sword of Oath of Victory was raised, exuding two evil lights of purple and black. The two of them didn't have any unnecessary nonsense and started fighting directly. Sword of Promised Victory. The real name was liberated, and the black light cannon attacked Lan directly. Soul Violence. All of the light cannon's attacks were devoured and did not cause any damage to Lan. In fact, even if Lan didn't use Soul Violence, the Sword of Promised Victory couldn't break his absolute defense. Seeing this scene, He Wu Mao was also stunned for a moment, but he didn't expect her noble phantasm to be blocked like this. However, just as she was about to continue attacking, Lan snapped her fingers, and countless silver threads emerged from the ground, binding her. Go to the imaginary space for a while. Lan devoured Black Hairless again, but only into the imaginary space without digesting it. Then he devoured the Great Holy Grail in Liudong Temple and the Black Hairless Little Holy Grail. Paimon, I'll give you a task to analyze her abilities and noble phantasm without digesting her. Sir Lan, this is too simple.